were having this conversation. And so he was saying, well, you know, I just don't get it. All this happy, slappy, happy, clappy, slappy, clappy stuff. What is this? What is it? We believe in something more profound, something deeper, something more substantial. We believe in joy. I wasn't convinced by his argument. It just seems to me that what God has done for us in Jesus is the most monumental thing ever in humanity, and at least a little bit ought to come out. Just every now and then, just in the corner of your mouth, right here, just a little bit. So try it sometime. But they've got, you know, the guy said this to me. He says, we have to believe in this with every fiber of our being because that's all we got. So it made me think about our diseases of prosperity. Maybe we've got too much. And so we've got so many options that, you know, we can kind of take it or leave it with the spiritual thing. And then finally, number 4. We believe that our faith leads us to suffer. That we're willing to suffer for our faith. And we have suffered. I want to hold up this name because this man is a hero of the faith. His name is Gudina Tumsa. Gudina Tumsa. Say that with me, ready? Gudina Tumsa. We have to remember his name and hold up the name of this man. A giant of faith. And a tall man too, about 6'5". Tall man. And he was the president of the Makani Jesus church body through the 1970s when the Marxist government came to power in Ethiopia. And the Marxist government dictated and determined that what would be preached from the pulpits in the church body would be the tenets of Marxism, and that the church and the government would never be spoken against negatively. And Tumsa said, we can't do that. We can't stand in the face of evil and not speak the truth of the gospel. And so they arrested him, and they tortured him, and they beat him. And then they released him, thinking that they had taught him a lesson. And guess what he did? Preached the gospel. Even louder, even more clearly, even more faithfully. And so they arrested him again and tortured him a second time and killed him on the 28th day of July in 1979. But from the blood of that martyr has grown this church, Tertullian said. Nothing new. This is early church stuff. Willingness to suffer for the faith. Faith and I had a great conversation yesterday about it's true that love without truth, no, excuse me, I got it backwards. Truth without love is a lie. In other words, we who have the truth of the gospel, this gift that God has given, I believe, to the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, if we do not live out that truth in deeds of love with people, then we make the truth a lie. But then you can flip it around. That truth, excuse me, I got this backwards. Love without truth is actually hate. In other words, if I claim I love you, but don't love you enough to share with you the truth of the gospel, then am I not hating you? If I'm not willing to suffer for this, if I'm not willing to lose friends or lose popularity for the sake of this truth, do I really care about the truth of the gospel? St. Francis of Assisi said, in baptism, we have already died the ultimate death, leaving us free to risk every other death for the sake of the life of the world. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to take some time to mull over these great thoughts that Reverend Nunes has just given us. The first small group session we are going to have, I'm going to invite you to just meet in little groups where you are. You can turn your chairs if you want, but you're going to have to turn them back. And we're going to look at these. Think about these things. Ministry of the baptized, ministry to the whole person, spiritual revival, and willingness to suffer for the faith. Pick 2 of those and talk in your groups about those things. And here's your question to talk about. Why might this be a challenge for us sometimes? Why might ministry of the baptized be a challenge? Or why might ministry to the whole person sometimes be a challenge for us? We're going to talk about that in small groups right now. And in a few minutes, I'm going to pull you back together. Enjoy.